It's a strange story. I saw this yesterday. Angie Harmon, actress from Rizzoli and Isles, says that her dog, Oliver, was shot and killed over Easter weekend at her Charlotte, North Carolina home. She shared on Monday via Instagram that Oliver was killed by an Instacart delivery man on Saturday. In a post filed with photos and videos of the German Shepherd Beagle mix, Harmon wrote that the driver, quote, got out of his car, delivered the food, and then shot their dog. She said our Ring camera was charging in the house, which he saw, and then knew he wasn't being recorded. An Instacart representative said, we were deeply saddened and disturbed to hear about this incident. We have no tolerance for violence of any kind, and the shopper account was immediately suspended from our platform. We've been in direct contact with the customer and are cooperating with law enforcement on their investigation. Harmon explained that authorities let the driver go because he claimed self-defense, adding that he did not have a scratch or bite on him, nor were his pants torn. The police learned in the investigation that the driver had arrived at the home and delivered the order. The driver told officers that a dog attacked him while he was at the residence and that he defended himself by firing a single gunshot, striking and mortally wounding the dog. Another at the residence but did not attack. The driver was not charged with any criminal charges. Additionally, the police department is not currently seeking any additional parties.
It is a weird story because sometimes when you guys get Amazon deliveries, will you get a pre-alert if an Amazon driver is very afraid of dogs or whatever? I'll get an alert, like if you have pets, please put them inside.
I've never gotten that, but I've gotten like the pre-alert that they're on their way, they're almost there.
So that is a consideration. Obviously, anyone who does delivery, you see it all the time. Case on AFV of UPS guys running from dogs at Amazon.
Sure.
So. Yeah, I could see if that was the case, but this doesn't seem to be the case at all. You know, where this guy was attacked.
It's weird.
Though he says he was.
I never got an alert like that, Steve, and then I just got one like a week ago or a week and a half ago. But what was weird about it was that I didn't know the package was being delivered. I was letting my dogs out. And so I have to put the dogs on a lead. So I open up the garage door, and there's a dude there, and I've got two dogs, and they're like, rah, 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 they're going crazy.
Right.
And so I think he sent that after.
So,
and he made it look like he sent it before he showed up to my house. I'm like, that's just too weird.
We have a dog bed on our porch. So there are signs that we have a dog. So I think that has alerted at least a couple of delivery people. And we're only too happy to do that. We have one dog now who's not aggressive at all. And Chelsea wasn't aggressive. But I could see as a delivery person, you don't know if you're showing up.
Yeah. So we have small dogs. They're Yorkies, but they're very, very. They have a lot of energy, and they bark at anybody who comes on the property. And we had a FedEx delivery gal one time who came up, and the dogs were outside, and they went after her.
Oh, man.
And I was like, oh, my God. I was like freaking out. She ran and was very upset. And I had this idiot who was doing some work on our house at the time, and he started laughing, and she got really pissed off. And I'm like, I don't know this guy. He's just doing work in my house. And please don't think that I am laughing at you. And my dogs are small. They're not going to hurt you. But she's like, look, I've been bit before.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't take this stuff lightly at all. So, but then again, don't need to go shooting dogs. I don't know.
Yeah, it is a weird story.
Yeah.
There's another, and this is probably about a month ago. For some reason, there was an Amazon package just sitting in the middle of my driveway. Right, and I'm like, why the hell is there? Not anywhere near a walkway or anything like that. And then we got a message back saying your package was delivered, and there's a picture of the package in the middle of the driveway and Fozzie standing right there. I'm like, okay, that's why.
There you go.
And dude's like, I'm not going any closer.
And you can understand it, about big dog. But again, this is a weird story.
So Harmon added on Instagram he was shopping under a woman's identity. So I guess they call the Instacart deliveries shoppers.
Oh, okay.
She said he shot our dog with my daughters and myself at home and just kept saying, yeah, I shot your dog. Yeah, I did. We're completely traumatized and beyond devastated at the loss of our beloved boy and family member. The Law & Order alum also shared on Instagram story with the news, to the man who took Ollie away from us, your actions are despicable and inexcusable. You not only robbed us of our beloved member of our family, but you've also traumatized us beyond measure. The fact that someone could commit such a heartless act is beyond comprehension to me, and I'm devastated that I didn't get to say goodbye to him. The actress's daughter, Avery, who is 18, whom she shares with ex-husband Jason Sehorn.
Oh, yeah.
Also shared, I just didn't know they were married. Or at one time, also shared on Instagram story, Morning Ollie, writing, "Rest in peace, sweet Ollie. This is not how you were supposed to go." So I'm curious about a follow-up on that story. See if anything comes of that.
He proposed to her, Preston, live on the Tonight Show one time, and it was, I think Leno was the host, and it was really awkward.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Then she was the guest, and it was Steve. It was one of those things where, like, and we've got a surprise for you, Angie Harmon. And then Sehorn came out, and it was just like, it was cringeworthy. And I just remember thinking, well, good for them, I guess, but this has not been fun for me to watch.
It's kind of like when Dennis proposed to Kathy.
I wasn't around for that one.
Like, did you say yes?
We didn't know. It looked pretty good, but
No, it was
we
great.
weren't confirmed.
Shannon Doherty is getting rid of things amid her breast cancer journey. She opened up about her diagnosis and the choice to get rid of her possessions. She said, "I've accumulated so much crap and it's sitting in storage. I'm not enjoying it and others aren't enjoying it. And do I really need any of it? So do I need to have 3 dining room tables?" She said. The answer is no. None of us really need all the stuff that we have. And we could all do with a little bit of downsizing and not becoming a hoarder.
So I listened to this episode because they popped it up, a link to it, and her talking about this, and it made sense. She wasn't being, morbid, or she was being practical, and knowing what the scenario could entail, and did not want to leave the burden of having to figure out what to do with all that stuff to her mom.
I remember maybe like a year or two before my father passed away, my mom wanted to get some crazy decoration. I don't know if it was an Easter decoration or whatever. My dad's like, "What, Joanne? Are we gonna get buried with this stuff?" You know what I mean? Because like essentially, like that's what you're doing right now. Like we don't need this. We already have enough decorations. Can't take it with us.
She said she's going to sell off the furniture that she's accumulated from antiquing, calling it just stuff, and it will help fund vacations for her and her mom, Rosa. She said, "It doesn't really bring me any great joy, but what does bring me great joy is taking my mom to the places that she's always wanted to go." So she's going to focus on all of that. She said she's focusing on her mom, saying that she knows it's going to be hard on her if I pass away before her. Because it's going to be so hard on her, I want other things to be a lot easier, and I don't want her to have a bunch of stuff to deal with, and I don't want her to have 4 storage units filled with furniture.
Yeah,
so she's going to unload it.
As someone who had a parent recently pass who had gone to great lengths to make sure everything was accounted for and plans were known to everyone, it makes a huge difference.
Sure, absolutely. Well, this was really sad to see yesterday. Actor Joe Flaherty, 2-time Emmy-winning actor, best known for his work in comedies, including the Canadian sketch comedy show SCTV, passed away on Monday. He had a brief illness. He was 82 years old. His daughter confirmed his death. The comedian and actor and writer was also known for his role as Lindsay and Sam's beloved dad, Harold Weir, on Freaks and Geeks. And he played a heckler to Adam Sandler's titular character in Happy Gilmore.
Jackass.
That's him, the jackass guy. Flaherty's most lasting contribution to comedy, though, was through his work with Second City. He began his comedy career at Second City's Chicago location, where he wrote and performed in multiple reviews over 7 years. In those performances, he starred alongside Brian Doyle Murray, Harold Ramis, John Belushi, to name others. He later moved to Toronto and helped develop a new Second City location there. And while he was in Canada, he starred in and wrote for SCTV, which both Steve and I love.
It's legendary.
Working with comedic legends John Candy, Catherine O'Hara, and Martin Short, and Eugene Levy, all these great people. He was nominated for 9 Primetime Emmy Awards for his writing on the show, winning twice in 82 and 83. His work on the series is regarded highly to this day, from his impressions of Richard Nixon and Gregory Peck to his original characters Big Jim McBob, Guy Caballero, and Count Floyd.
Count Floyd was great. Guy Caballero. And so if you want to see, everyone knows the SNL Jeopardy parody with Will Ferrell playing Alex Trebek. But it's Halfwits. It's the series. They did a parody well before that. Okay. And Joe Flaherty played this guy, and it was a prosthetic nose, and he was just like a regular kind of goober, but he was hilarious. Yep. And it was the whole concept was that no one ever got a right answer on the show, and it frustrated the host.
He was also in lots of other movies and TV shows. Back to the Future 2, One Crazy Summer, National Security, Family Guy, The King of Queens, and a bunch more.
He was Curtis Armstrong's dad in One Crazy Summer.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah, Flaherty's former classmates and collaborators, including Adam Sandler and Martin Short, shared tributes to the actor. Sandler wrote on Instagram Tuesday morning that he worshipped Flaherty growing up and that it couldn't be more fun to have him heckle me on the golf course, referring to the scene together in Happy Gilmore.
I was watching a clip yesterday. Years ago, Flaherty had come out on the on Letterman's show, and Letterman was clearly fanboying.
Sandler's post continued saying, the nicest guy you could know, genius of a comedian and a true sweetheart, perfect combo. Much love to his kids, and thanks to Joe for all the greatness that he gave us all. Martin Short, who was involved in a fundraiser to cover some of Flaherty's medical expenses prior to his death, said in a statement to Variety that the actor was the anchor of SCTV. He said, in life, he was simply the funniest man in the room. I just adored him. So I guess he had been sick for a little while. I don't know.
Yeah, I have not heard anything.
It was a short illness, but I guess they were helping raise some money for him and his family.
That jackass line from Happy Gilmore, it's how my friend Tim and I say hello to each other and goodbye to one another. And it was just like, all right, see you later, jackass.
Short worked with Comedic Artists Alliance, an organization dedicated to financially helping comedy creators going through challenges, including illness, to support Flaherty and his daughter, who was his caretaker. So he must have been
that's sad to hear,
It's not the first time the SCTV cast and crew members have band together to support their peers. In 2008, Flaherty and co-stars Short, O'Hara, and Andrea Martin and Eugene Levy reunited on stage for the first time in 24 years to raise money for a former member of the SCTV production staff who was ill and had hefty medical bills. So that was some sad news to pass along. All right, lighter stuff. Daniel Tosh has spread a false rumor that Kylie Jenner is pregnant with Timothée Chalamet's baby. The comedian made the claim during an episode of the Tosh Show podcast, citing information from a grocery store employee in Los Angeles. He stated that Jenner and the Kardashian-Jenner crew have allegedly rented out the entire store to film the season 5 finale of their reality show during which Jenner would reveal her pregnancy. However, insiders close to production sources have dismissed the rumor as baseless. Representatives for Jenner and Chalamet have not commented on the matter. The couple, who did confirm their relationship in September of last year, have recently faced some breakup rumors.
That's what I've been hearing.
As they have not been seen together since January.
Yeah, having a baby, that'll bring them closer together. Timothy's going to be in Cape May next week, I believe, filming for...
Got that later on.
All right.
Yeah. Kansas police are searching for Cole Brings Plenty. That's the name of an actor who appeared on Yellowstone prequel series 1923.
Cole Brings Plenty?
Yeah, he's Native American.
Okay.
In connection with an alleged domestic violence incident that took place over the weekend. In a Facebook post on Tuesday, the Lawrence Police Department said that it submitted an affidavit for the arrest of Cole Brings Plenty after an incident Sunday morning at an apartment in Lawrence. They identified him as a suspect, and they have probable cause for his arrest. Authorities said that officers initially responded to reports of a woman screaming for help, but the suspect fled before they could arrive at the scene. Further investigation and traffic cameras led them to him, who was last seen leaving the city in a 2005 white Ford Explorer. The department added this incident involves allegations of domestic violence, which limits the amount of information we can share.
There's pictures up here. Kathy, do you recognize him from the show?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right.
Brings Plenty has appeared as Pete Plenty Clouds in 2 episodes of 1923. On Tuesday, his uncle Moses Brings Plenty, a fellow actor who plays Mo on Yellowstone, shared a missing persons poster of his nephew on Instagram, letting followers know that letting them know about his last location and vehicle. The poster also notes that Cole missed an appointment with his agent, which is uncharacteristic for him, and that his cell phone is off. And the family have reported him as missing as well.
That's not good.
So they're trying to find him. All right, a lighter story. I'm trying to go heavy, light,
one
heavy.
Drink,
light.
one water.
One drink, one water.
One water.
Kathy's mom's solution to
alcohol.
Imbibing. Sammy Sweetheart Giancola from Jersey Shore is a bride to be.
Hey.
She revealed in an Instagram post on Monday that her longtime boyfriend, Justin May, proposed, and that was on March 16th. She said, "I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you. And she ended the post by
or at least a portion of it.
telling her followers that the announcement was not an April Fool's joke. Many of her Jersey Shore castmates raved about the news in the comment section, including Jenny J. Wow, saying congratulations. Mike The Situation said congratulations, love, love. And according to the announcement, Giancola's round cut engagement ring is set in a gold band, and Giancola May began dating a few months after she and her ex, Christian Biscardi, ended their engagement and 2-year romance. So
this is a Biscotti.
This is another engagement for her. All right, now another
sad one.
Unfortunate story.
Right.
The health of Jay Leno's wife continues to decline following a diagnosis of advanced dementia. Mavis Leno, apparently, according to this document, sometimes does not recognize her husband, according to a new filing by her court-appointed counsel, Ronald Ostrom. According to her neurologist, Dr. Cohen, she has advanced dementia, sometimes does not know her husband, Jay, nor her date of birth. She has a lot of disorientation, will ruminate about her parents who have both passed on. Her mother died about 20 years ago. The filing states Dr. Hart Cohen has been treating her since she was involved in a car accident in 2018. And according to Dr. Cohen, Mr. Leno loves his wife very much and waited to bring this matter out of respect to her. In the filing, he states that he said that Mr. Leno was such a nice man and treats Mavis like gold.
Can you imagine? So he's been with her forever. If I were to look into Claire's eyes and have her not recognize me, I don't know how you'd process that.
Yep. The main purpose of the petition is to be able to protect Mavis if something happened to Mr. Leno, but otherwise provide the least disturbance to Ms. Leno's lifestyle and to preserve her dignity and ensure her safety. The new information about her health comes 3 months after he had filed for a conservatorship over her estate back in January in Los Angeles. So, he basically said she's unable to manage herself, so he's got to take care of it.
I know this seems weird to bring this up because this is obviously has a lot of, this is horrible, but I wonder if in a way this going on might help mend bridges with him and Letterman, because they've been on the outs for so long.
Really?
And, life has a way of making you go, forget it. Let's put it behind us.
Maybe. Jay desires to execute an estate plan, including a revocable trust and will, which will provide for Mavis and Mavis's brother and her sole living heir aside from Jay. Oh, man, that's another heavy story. Well, this is got all right, let's do this one's lighter. The doctors on Gray Sloan Memorial are returning for another season. On Tuesday, ABC announced Grey's Anatomy was renewed for a 21st season.
No.
Extending
I'm putting my foot down.
Its record as the longest-running primetime medical drama and the network's longest-running primetime scripted series. Creator Shonda Rhimes celebrated the news on Instagram.
26 seasons.
She posted a picture. She said this was taken in 2015. It was a throwback of the celebration of their 250th episode. She said, to still be on your screens in your living rooms and in your hearts almost 10 years later, words cannot express my gratitude. She said, Grey's was something I made up 20 plus years ago. And I'm so incredibly proud that it's been picked up for its 21st season. This honestly could not be possible without you guys caring about the stories I tell, the talented cast, the writers, the crew. Wow, she said. And the renewal comes 3 episodes into Grey's Anatomy's 20th season. This season, Ellen Pompeo, who, of course, is Dr. Meredith Grey on the series, signed on for 4 episodes. The actress who already had a scaled-back role in season 19 remains as an executive producer on the series in addition to providing the opening and closing voiceover for each episode.
This is still a show I've never seen 1 second of, and it's okay. I know a lot of people love it. It just surprises me that shows can last this long, and there are so many outlets for so many different shows, and yet other shows get canceled somehow. Like it seems to me like there are so many ways to keep shows on television that anything getting canceled ever boggles my mind.
You got to sit in the pocket. I call it the Jag effect. Like I didn't know anyone who watched Jag, but it stayed on forever.
Yeah, it was on forever.
Yeah. So in this case, I'd love to go through the history though of plot lines because I don't know if they. I was watching the coming attractions for the show 911, and basically, Preston, it is the Poseidon Adventure.
Yeah,
I mean. part of the crew is on a cruise and the ship capsizes.
Okay.
I'm like, man,
Yeah.
they are reaching.
Yeah.
So you've been on this long. I can only imagine what some of the plot lines have
It's
been.
weird. A few weeks ago, we had a guest on the show who couldn't talk about being in that episode of 911.
Oh, what's it?
Yeah, and I'm not going to say who it was,
Yeah.
but I was like, dude, like, he didn't want to give anything away. I'm like, the billboard is on 95 right now.
We
There's a
kinda know
ship
some.
capsized on the billboard. We know
Yeah.
what's going on.
And they spent a lot clearly on it. And it's been running for a couple of episodes, but it's the Poseidon Adventure.
Okay. All right, here's that kind of heavier story. Nick Cannon and Abby De La Rosa are sharing an update on their 2-year-old son, Zillion. They shared a joint post on Instagram in honor of World Autism Day, in which they announced that their son, Zillion, who's 2 years old, has been diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. He wrote, "Our beautiful boy experiences life in 4D and teaches us something new every day. His love, strength, and brilliance light up every room he enters. We're blessed that God had placed such an amazing spirit under our guardianship, and we have accepted this assignment wholeheartedly." They share twins Zion and Zillion.
Oh, they like disease.
They do like disease, as well as a daughter named Beautiful, who is 16 months old.
And they have another daughter named Zoe's Kitchen.
Really?
Yeah, which is...
Oh, some of those have gone out of business.
I know.
That's too bad, too.
By the way, they have an incredible salmon pita that I adore. So I just thought I'd bring that up.
Sorry to hear that.
Sorry for your loss.
Yeah, sorry for your loss. The 82nd Annual Golden Globe Awards is set to take place January 5th of next year on CBS and Paramount Plus.
So your travel plans, you may want to
You may want to mark that. This will be the beginning of a new 5-year deal to broadcast the show on CBS. Nominations won't be announced till December 9th, but they're going ahead and throwing that out there.
Why not announce them now?
January 5th is when that'll be. All right, we are now ready for some clips. It's 1969, and an ambitious woman aspires to secure her seat in Palm Beach high society in Palm Royale. Here, Kristen Wiig talks about forming her character for the show. Here we go.
I think the biggest challenge was knowing that at her core, she's trying to get something so superficial, but we want the audience to root for her. So I don't know. I thought maybe if she was super positive, that would sort of help that a little bit. I think she reminds me physically of Samantha from Bewitched. Yeah.
New episode of Palm Royale streams today on Apple Plus.
I started watching it.
How is it?
It's pretty good. It's keeping my attention right now, but I'm like I want like something to
Is
happen.
it straight up comedy or is it drama
no.
as well?
No, there's drama to
Okay.
it.
I
Yeah.
heard it's like a White Lotus.
It is
sort
not
of.
nearly as good as White Lotus.
All right.
All right.
But it's a good show.
Here's our next clip. After a 6-month break, American Horror Story Delicate returns, and it's overshadowed or overloaded with blood, horror, and the unexpected. In this clip, Kim Kardashian talks about playing a publicist with a dark secret. Here we go.
The character of Siobhan is definitely like a boss. That's so me in some ways. I really connected with her on that. I don't want to say I connect with everything about her, but that side I definitely can.
You're a complete dirty whore.
American Horror Story Delicate Part 2 premieres tonight on FX.
Hate to say it, but I've seen a couple of clips of her.
She's
from the
not
show.
bad.
She is not bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know. I hate to hear it.
I
but,
know.
Yeah, I have heard that. You're right. By the way, the Timothy Chalamet thing, and Kate May, I'm going to get to that a little bit later on. There's
All
a
right.
casting call for some filming that's taking place with him in that Bob Dylan biopic coming up. So maybe you'll be in his movie. We'll see. All right. That's it for the entertainment report. Secret text where we're giving away tickets for the Black Keys. The show doesn't even go on sale till Friday. Text the word secret to 39333. We also have an announcement that we're going to make about a contest coming up. So we will get to that around the Bizarre File time. We're going on Fox Good Day 2, and we're going to help you dodge the rain on your drive in this morning. So we'll take a break, come back in just a sec. So stay with us, please.
Preston and Steve.
That's your traffic on 93.3 WMMR.
Thank you, Kathy. Well, I have put my finger on the pulse of this town.
Oh, man.
And I have stories aplenty in and around our area.
Scoobly wow wow, he's the moisturized meat behind the beat. He's the city beat king.
By the way, I've decided to bring my CeraVe moisturizing cream here into the studio.
I see commercials for that stuff all the time.
I always forget, and then I have to rush back out and go into the office because I refuse to do the show without moisturizing.
during Kathy's traffic, you can rub one out.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, Steve.
Kath, how
Jesus.
does that make you feel?
It makes me feel like I want to contact human resources.
We should
Who
get
is
one of those
that?
departments.
Yeah. We have one of those.
If only we had one.
Start with a receptionist and then hire an HR department.
So Monday is the solar eclipse.
Yes.
That's when it's reaching its peak. Rather than send students home in darkness, some school districts are going to be doing a few different things, including sending kids home early. Others are taking kids outside, and they're going to show them the whole thing and that whole routine. But the Pennsylvania Department of Education is advising schools to take safety precautions, noting that even a short glimpse of the sun can permanently damage the rods and cones in the human retina. Noting that the eclipse's path may coincide with school dismissal. The department says that it will count early dismissals on the day of the eclipse for safety purposes to be early dismissals for inclement weather, counting as full days of instruction.
I'm trying to remember the first time we had an eclipse during the week, school week. This goes way back.
Yeah.
I think they might have had a half day.
Really? Like when we were
they might have, or maybe I'm misremembering it because it was a big thing. They had us build these boxes so that you could, eclipse boxes. I have a picture of me as a kid with one on my head. And it was a big thing. And I'm trying to remember whether, for some reason, I thought it was during the school week. It might have been the weekend. I might be completely misremembering it. But, the one thing you guys all have kids, or I know myself as a kid, when you tell a kid not to look at something,
Well, I think
they're
that's
going to look at something.
I think that's the problem,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah,
what they're worried about. But essentially, they're letting the kids out early because it's right around when elementary schools would be let out, so that they can go home and not look up as opposed to looking up when they come out of school.
Or not have a lawsuit.
Yeah. Well, I think it was.
Steve, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
1984, I think, was the year because I'm pretty sure I was in 5th grade.
It was.
Because I remember.
Yep, we got the info right here. It was 1984. The last time we had the greatest solar coverage in the region, it was 95% in 1984. So it was almost a total solar eclipse in this area.
But I remember it, Steve, because they closed the curtains in the classrooms. And it was kind of like, it was like an eerie, ominous sort of feeling.
Like a Ray Bradbury story.
Yeah, you couldn't peek out or anything like that.
Case, there was once, and I remember we were gathered outside. I was with a hunting party, and this huge asteroid collided with the planet.
Wow.
And it was just crazy.
Did you guys survive?
It was like Yucatan.
Yeah,
I remember
exactly.
that. I read about that.
I'm a little bit older.
I'm actually going to be out celebrating with Rita's Water Ice that day on Monday.
Don't look up.
I'm going to be at the Rita's Water Ice, which is on Kirkwood Highway in Wilmington, and I'm going to be there from 2 to 4. But 200 attendees, if you come out, you'll get a free small ice and WMMR solar eclipse glasses.
Yes. By the way, that's all you need. Just make sure you have solar eclipse glasses.
Yeah.
And
And did you see though? Like you have to be careful where you're getting these because they're they're selling these knockoffs that are not actually going to protect your eyes.
Your novelty solar eclipse glasses.
Seriously.
Isn't that funny? He's completely blind.
So what will we actually see and experience?
Well, for a solar eclipse, if you've never
I don't
experienced
know.
it before,
I don't remember.
It just, the way, if you don't look up at the sky, if you don't have the special visors
Right.
or a box like Steve says that can show you the reflection and you'll see the actual coverage of the sun, things just seem, it almost seems a little shady is the way it seems to me. It seems a little odd, a little twilighty.
It's a weird light that you're seeing.
It's not overt. You may just go, wow, is it cloudy and I didn't realize
So
it?
almost like a cloud is over the sun.
Kind of like that.
But it's different. I mean, like
it's slightly different.
Yeah, and you'll notice it, Kathy. Hopefully, we get a sunny day and it's not like rainy or whatever. But what I always notice, and Steve, maybe you've seen this as well, the shadows that like trees cast on the ground are just different.
Otherworldly.
Yeah.
You will notice that the crickets will, they'll kick in. I mean, not now, obviously, because there's a lot of pre-cricketing going on. But so it does affect things in different ways. I remember the last one that we had. Whereas, how long ago was it?
Wasn't that long ago? It was like 5 years ago.
Oh, I remember that
17.
one. 17, because a picture actually just popped up in my phone as like a memory or whatever. So was that the same thing?
So it's an eclipse. So what it was is I don't know what level of coverage that one was.
Right.
It did get a bit darker, exactly the way Preston described it. You'd be like, "Well, this seems kind of weird."
Yeah.
And then I remember looking up into it with my naked eyes, and that's when I became blind.
Stop. Well, here we're going to get 90%. I read.
Okay, yeah,
Which is
around 90,
awesome.
91%. So what some of the schools are doing, just to give you an example, in South Jersey, a number of school districts are planning to dismiss early. Cherry Hill Superintendent Kwame Morton said in a message to families, we've had extensive discussion regarding the risk of serious eye damage from looking at the sun during an eclipse without proper eye protection. He said that while the eclipse was being used as an educational opportunity in our schools, the timing had raised concerns. Similarly, the Pennsauken School District announced early dismissals as well. Some Pennsylvania districts said that they are planning regular schedules. In the Penridge School District, Superintendent Angelo Barrios sent families information about the eclipse, advising that it would still be visible upon dismissal, providing an excellent opportunity for observation. However, they said, we want to remind everyone to never look directly at the sun without proper eye protection.
Just in general, line 1 has a good suggestion, Preston.
Okay, we'll go to them then. I have Mario on the line. Hey, Mario, good morning.
Mario. Chicken pie, chicken pie, chicken pie.
What's up, bud?
Hey, so listen, real quick. I'm sorry to bother you guys at work, but a couple years ago, I was in Texas, and there was a solar eclipse there. I looked straight into it because I had a welding helmet, and they are specifically designed for ultraviolet rays. Now, I know not everybody has a welding helmet. However, you could run to, like, Harbor Freight or something like that and buy a pair of, they have, like, welding glasses.
Like goggles? Yeah.
No. Like, they look like
Just glasses.
Yeah, they look like sunglasses, but they have that lens in there.
Oh.
So, like, if you wanted to buy them for, I don't know, $10, $12, if it's something that you really wanted to look at, but it just looks like a black hole with a white ring around it.
I agree. Thank you, Mario. I appreciate the celestial. Love you, buddy.
Love ya.
I appreciate the celestial event that it is, but I have experienced a couple of them, so I'm not like wigging out that I got to see this. So
I remember you know what? The most impressive time for me was my eclipse box. Because I built the goddamn thing.
You did
it was more that I did something that worked.
I'm on Amazon right now. I think I just want to get a welding helmet just to have one.
Here, hold on.
They're not even that expensive. No, this is like, dude, this one's $40. And press, look at that. It's badass, man.
Oh, it looks like a hockey goalie mask.
Yeah.
I think you could skull on it and flames.
According to NASA, any welding lenses that are at least a shade 12 are safe for viewing. So make sure it's a shade 12.
What about a bonnet? Because I'm planning on wearing one of those during the eclipse.
Adorable.
Wait, but they do say that most types of welding don't require eyewear with filters that dark. So these welding helmets at a shade 12 are hard to come by.
Oh, okay. So just make sure, do the research and make sure that it is safe enough.
Yeah.
If the guy who's working behind the counter is blind, ask what he did.
Right. So there are some special events that are taking place at various locations around the area. I'm going to throw out some names here. I don't have the exact details of what they're all doing, but they will have some viewing events that are taking place. The eclipse will last for about 2.5 hours. Starts at 2:08 p.m. and will peak around 3:23 p.m. And there will be some events going on, as you would imagine, at the Franklin Institute. Did you reach out to Derek Pitts?
I did, yeah. So
let's see if we can talk to him at some point.
He's
this
super
week.
busy, as you can
sure.
imagine, on Monday morning, but I think we're going to be able to chat with him.
Free Library of Philadelphia, the Independence Visitor Center, the Kimpton Hotel Palomar, the Mather Planetarium of Westchester
Correct me if I'm
University.
wrong too, Preston.
Mather, I'm sorry.
But for 24 hours, you're allowed to commit any crime you want, correct?
That's the purge.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's
No
a little
bombs, though.
different. Temple University, Valley Forge Park, Chester County Library System, the Wagner Free Institute of Science, and the Wissahickon Environmental Center. They're all going to be having special events.
Library.
I'm sorry.
okay.
Jackie Bam Bam from the Pronunciation Institute of Jackie Bam Bam. Library.
Any of those places giving away free ice to the first 200 people that show up, or is it
Doesn't
just
know, man.
In fact,
margaritas?
they will,
Okay.
if you show up with an ice, they'll take it away from you.
Oh,
Which
yeah.
Ritas?
It's Kirkwood Highway in Wilmington. You can get all the information at WMMR.com.
Okay.
It is cool. I'm more interested with the way nature reacts. You know, dogs will start harmonizing. They'll erupt, like packs of dogs will erupt into barbershop quartets. Really? People don't realize that.
No, that's the first I've heard of that phenomenon. But listen, it's a strange event. causes strange things to happen in nature.
It's just the way.
Actually, some people do get a little nutty over it. Like there were, it's going to be passing over a part of Missouri where my wife's family lives, and apparently people think that that's when the aliens are going to be contacting us and all this other stuff. It does get people in a tizzy.
Why not?
Some people. Why
Yeah,
not? What
why
the
not?
hell? Do you remember that was used in the movie Dolores Claiborne?
Yes.
When the eclipse happens is when everybody's distracted and she can do the thing that she needs to do in that.
I
And
love that movie.
That's a great film.
I love that movie.
Yeah, some people see it as a religious thing. In fact, I've got a bizarre file story coming up about prisoners, I believe it's at Rikers Island, who are suing to be able to be let out so they can see this because it's part of their religious beliefs.
Okay.
But, so we'll get to that a little bit later on. Other City Beat news for you. And Casey touched on this in the entertainment report. But the new Bob Dylan biopic starring Timothée Chalamet, A Complete Unknown, directed by James Mangold, who we have a connection to, started filming in New Jersey last week. And Cape May is going to be standing in for Seaside Newport because it was in Newport, Rhode Island, where Bob first played a plugged-in electric concert, which was a shock to his fans because he was acoustic.
Freaked. There were people who were furious.
Angry. Yeah, very, very angry about it. So scenes depicting his plugging in will be filmed in Cape May, New Jersey.
I like that the film is going to bring to light that part of his life where he was a competitive surfer. A lot of people did not know that.
I didn't know that. I thought maybe they were doing that because don't you remember he got picked up for being like a transient walking in
Just
one of
walking
those?
around New Jersey.
Oh, yeah.
And by the way, Dylan, they said could not have been cooler. They said he thought it was funny.
Yeah.
They thought he was kind of a vagrant.
Totally.
That
He
was
gets
one
it.
of our shore towns. I can't remember which one, whether it was like Avalon or
Might
something.
have
No,
been
it's like
Avalon.
Asbury Park. It was.
Was it up that high?
I think it was
Northern-
further up
yeah,
north,
yeah.
guys. No, but Bruce was spotted in Wildwood one
He was
time.
because his son, I think at the time, was working.
Firefighter.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
right.
So the movie, which focuses on Dylan's rise to 1960s voice of his generation status, also stars Edward Norton as Pete Seeger and Monica Barbaro as Joan Baez. So here's the deal. If you're in and around the area, they are looking for extras
To fill the audience.
for this scene.
I've always wanted to be in you'd be one of the actors in a Woodstock scene or something like that.
Yeah.
Who's playing the Iron Sheik in this, Preston?
Nobody.
Okay.
It's not a wrestling movie. So they're looking for people 18 and older, and it's being held by Grant Wilfley Casting, which is a casting agency I've never heard of.
I've never
before.
heard of them.
I think it might be out of New York. I'm not sure. They are seeking extras for the feature film shooting in Cape May. And I looked and I was like, we have a shore house in Wildwood. That's not too far away. That'd be cool. I can't. It's during the week. It's in the work week, May 12th through the 16th.
Well, let's just broadcast live from your house.
And it will be it'll be over those stretch of days, which is a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
So there's a couple things that are going on in the area. We were out at a certain mulch place, Preston, that found out that they're going to be part of a.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
they did.
A good, our favorite mulch place.
And extremely famous people are going to be there.
That's cool. I don't know what you guys are talking about, but I'm excited.
It's the Iron Sheik story.
That's terrific.
Who is, he of course came to this country to initially sell mulch.
All right. What is our connection to James Mangold? You mentioned him earlier. He's the director.
Am I thinking of somebody else?
James Mangold directed the last Indiana Jones film and directed Logan.
I was thinking of somebody else.
Oh, all right.
The other dude we know who's a director.
The dude who's doing the HBO show, he did Mare of Easttown, your guy.
Brad Englesby?
That's who I was thinking of. Sorry about
Mangold Ingalls.
So Grant Wilfie Casting, they're looking for a casting call that includes a specific requirement, including being okay with a period-appropriate haircut and facial hair and okay working around smoke. So there's going to be a lot of people smoking weed.
Yeah.
And a curious stipulation in this is that applicants must have no allergies to wool as well.
I thought you were going to say wolves.
No, wool, as in
like the wolves.
as in sheepskin.
Thanks for coming out. Now we're going to unleash the wolves.
So you guys obviously did a few scenes with It's Always Sunny and shot some episodes with them. Casey and I have been extras on It's Always Sunny more than once. And it's cool. I love doing it, but there is a lot of standing around waiting.
Yes.
Like you just are TV production is very different than radio production.
Well, this would be cool because you're going to get have multiple you're going to be part of these crowd scenes, right? So they're it's like when they did Spinal Tap. They actually went to real concerts and asked the audience to stay around.
Oh right, yeah. Isn't Pierre an extra in a Hooters video?
And they dance.
He's also in Tokyo Drift.
I don't think he's in that.
I was when I was in Chicago with my son last week. Was walking down. I was at Grant Park, just strolling. It was in the morning, and I came across. I saw these vehicles parked on the street, and I'm like, I know what those are. That's a makeup trailer. That's a casting trailer. You know, I saw all that because of our time shooting with Always Sunny.
Yes,
exact same type of vehicles.
Same deal, yeah.
And I'm like, oh man. And so I walked by, and they had the name of the show on it. I wrote it down, and I was kind of just loitering around, and I wrote down the name, and I started doing an IMDb. And, let me see. Who is in it? Big name. Forrest Whitaker. It's a show. Nick, if you'll pull up IMDb.
Yeah. Is it the...
Forrest Whitaker. It was based on a novel. It's a show.
It's not the show we like.
No, he's in a TV show called Godfather of Harlem.
Right.
And I think they have another season coming out of that, but maybe it's a new one, Preston?
Yeah, it's upcoming. Is that his IMDb?
Uh-huh.
Emperor of Ocean Park?
No, hang on a second. I forgot what it was called. But anyhow, as I'm standing there, Emperor of Ocean Park. And I was standing there, and I'm just kind of waiting to see if maybe Forrest Whitaker will come walking out.
Preston?
And right about that time, a security guard came strolling around. Morning. I'm like, hey, how you doing? And I just kept on walking. And I never saw anybody famous. But I think I saw a picture of him on one. I don't know if they were there at that time, but yeah.
When you were talking about that hotel where you stayed, the Hilton, on Monday's show, some listeners pointed out they filmed a whole lot of The Fugitive there.
Yes, they did.
And I didn't know that until halfway through a conversation.
Where he goes, so they can bring you Provasic.
Yeah.
That was filmed inside there.
Yeah, near the end of the movie.
Yep. So they film a lot in Chicago. They're starting to film more and more around here. There's some good stuff coming up, this being one of them in Cape May.
Yeah.
So if you would like to be an extra on this film, A Complete Unknown, they're specifically asking for extras local to Cape May. All accepted applicants will be transported to Jersey City and back for a costume fitting.
They got to go from Cape May to Jersey City.
I know. I found that kind of strange.
Why not?
So for SAG-AFTRA members, pay is $208 for 8 hours. For non-members, it's $176 for 10 hours.
So I know someone who was sort of actively going and doing as much extra work as possible and was pulling together some decent money.
Okay.
That actually led to the occasion where they became aware in that circle of a potential speaking role. Or one of those little roles, I'll get a rope kind of roles.
Okay.
And they're parlaying it.
All right. Here's another story out of City Beat. Speaking of wool, as we did in that last story, and Kathy, this could be if you did spring activities. But on Saturday, April 27th, Fox Chase Farm will be opening its gates for Sheep Shearing Day.
Sheep Shearing Day.
Yes.
That's funny.
The Barnyard Bonanza brings locals to the 112-acre working and educational farm to see staffers give the sheep and a spring coat and spin their wool into yarn. And it's an extra special opportunity since it is one of the few times a year that the site, which is managed by the School District of Philadelphia, is open to the public.
Oh, wow,
so
cool.
I find that sort of mesmerizing to watch a sheep being sheared. It looks like it might be interesting to do, but I would always... You always worry that you might hurt them or shear too deeply, or I don't know. It's probably.
I guess you got to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
After the shearing ends, visitors can participate in one of many planned activities that they have there. By the way, I was shearing myself yesterday, and I did nick
Oh man,
a little area.
Zach?
Not funny, and it was the first pass too.
Oh man, that never happens.
I was like,
Yeah.
And I have a guard on my razor.
You were going in too hot.
I guess so. I'm going in hot. So they're going to have these different activities that are taking place. You can pick up a new skill with the woodworking, blacksmith, and candle dipping demos.
What about sheep dipping?
Or take a hayride around the Northeast Philly property. Local nature enthusiasts, including Philadelphia Backyard Chickens and Joe the Beekeeper, will also be in attendance to teach the group.
I will
that
say,
sounds
though,
fun.
when it gets time for the sheep to be sheared, they're pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
They're ready.
Yeah,
they're
bushy,
gross
and there's a lot of
like a Marilyn
dirt
Monroe in the 7-Year Itch.
and stuff in there.
I told you guys yesterday I went to my friend's farm in Upper Black Eddy, Bucks County, and they have horses. And I didn't
shear them?
Well, yeah. I mean, they brush them. Basically, their hair was so long because of the winter. I couldn't believe it. Like looking at their legs, it was.
You never think about that.
You never think about it. And when we walked in, the owner of the horses, he was brushing them, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe how much hair was on the ground for them to clean up. Actually, they said they throw it outside for the birds to make nests, but they were very, very hairy because of the winter.
So they're going to be trimming this up, so you can do that April 27th. So that's kind of a fun thing. Take kids to go to.
It always looks so liberating for the sheep to finally
Oh,
thank you.
Totally.
Right? We used to have a cat, Xena, who would grow. Their hair would come out so much like a sheep's, a woolly kind of a texture to it. And we actually would have someone, our dog groomer, could you shear Xena as well?
Yeah.
And and you could just see her go, thank you.
Yeah, totally. All right, here's another City Beat story. The world's oldest working drive-in is celebrating their 90th anniversary, Shankweiler's Drive-In.
I always wanted to go there.
I've been. It's cool.
Yeah. There's that one, and then there's another one in Jersey. That's the one in Pennsylvania. Yeah, there's another one in Jersey. I've never been to a drive.
This one is in Lehigh, right?
I don't know where it is, actually. I know it's up the Northeast Extension.
Yeah, it's in Lehigh County. Yeah.
Okay.
It's okay. The one that is, what's the one that everyone goes
to?
to?
The Delsey Drive?
I think so,
That was
yeah.
one. I don't know if that's still around or not, but I need to get there. I need to get to a drive-in because they're not going to be around anymore.
I was watching Joe Bob Briggs talk about the history of drive-ins in the United States, and initially, the first drive-ins would simply put like a speaker array up by the screen as best they could, and you were basically across a field in your car with the windows open listening to it, and then they realized, this isn't going to work.
Case, you talking about the Mahoning Drive-In?
That's another popular one.
Carbon County.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shankweiler's, that's the name that I recognize.
Okay.
There was a drive-in theater out in Westchester, and that's where I spent the first 4 or 5 years of my life. And I have vivid memories, Steve, of going to see 2 movies at the drive-in. The first was the original Star Wars.
I
was probably 2.5 or 3, and then the second one was Superman 2. It's for me core early childhood memories being in the drive-in theater.
Casey, the Delsey Drive-In is in Vineland.
Okay, yeah.
So that's the only one in New Jersey, by the way, and there are none in Delaware.
For me, the best. Oh, Preston, I'll never forget this. So years and years ago, my parents dropped my brother off at the Comac Drive-In, which is very popular, Comac, New York. And A Hard Day's Night was playing. And I remember pulling up. We were in the car, Preston, and we could hear girls screaming. But what I used to love about the drive-in were the classic drive-in things. The shuffleboard, the swing sets, all of those other amenities that they would include. Because there's a little amusement park as well. It was a blast.
So Shankweiler's opened in on April 15th, 1934. So its 90th anniversary is coming up on the 15th. It's about 60 miles north of Philly. It's the only drive-in that predates it. Was in Camden, on the Camden-Pennsauken border, but it closed in 1940. That opened in 1933.
There used to be a coffee table book about abandoned drive-ins, drive-ins that just gone or in disrepair. There's something eerie and cool about them. I went into one time. I went behind the concession stand, and I went down this incredibly long tunnel to a military base.
I think that's Spies Like Us.
Is that Spies Like Us?
About, yeah. Okay. I actually just watched that last week.
McClanahan, so it was inspired by the Camden County Theater. Wilson Shankweiler built his drive-in as an attraction for his restaurant and inn that he had. 90 years later, Shankweiler celebrates its anniversary on April 13th by bringing in 1930s vehicles and reenacting vintage drive-in do-it-yourself, including hanging a bed sheet between two poles for a screen.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Steve, getting back to Spies Like Us, that guy is it Bruce Davidson is in it? I didn't realize that. Yeah, Nick, you had booked him on the show last year. Didn't he he got arrested at the Springton Reservoir?
That's right. Yeah, he's got a lot of local ties. He's a super nice dude, and I forgot he was in Spies Like Us.
Yep. So let's see. It was bought by these two people. McClanahan is the guy's last name. It was earlier in the article, and I don't have it written down. But also Lauren McChesney. They bought it in 2022. Paid just over $1 million, and they were the fourth owner since 1934. And they've been working on, keeping it alive. And they now keep it open year round.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
You have to make ends meet.
Yeah.
I think that the cool thing is that there's so much American, lore. I mean, the thing to do, you try to smuggle in friends in the trunk. Now, I was past the point where you would take a date.
Yeah.
But, or I was too young to take a date to a drive-in and do the classic makeout session. But I always preferred actual theaters. But when you're a little kid, the drive-in was awesome.
And as always, it's double feature.
Yes.
So they always do double features, which is pretty cool. As a kid, I remember going to double features. You go seeing 2 movies back to back.
God, I used to love. So obviously you can do whatever you want now streaming wise, but when you go to a theater and see a double feature or triple feature,
you're dug in, man.
Mm-hmm. Oh, dude, I did Go Ape for a day. I did all the Planet of the Apes movies back to back. Yeah.
Nice. All right. So because I've never been to a drive-in and we're approaching, now we're like daylight savings time. Does it run when the sun's out? Do you have to wait for the, okay.
Yeah, it'll start before the sun is all the way down.
Okay.
And there's plenty, you can see.
But
just
they don't have
fine.
afternoon shows.
No,
right?
no.
Okay.
The sun's got to be.
They have eclipse shows.
Yeah.
The sun's got to be below the horizon.
Okay.
For your, but
so in the summer, everything starts later.
You kind of see twilight, and that's fine. But once it's pitch black dark, then it pops. It's great. Gates will open at 5 p.m. Saturday, April 13th for Shankweiler's 90th anniversary celebration. A magician will be visiting, and themed drinks will be served as well. So that's pretty cool.
I love that.
Yeah.
All right, that's it. That's all we have time for in the City Beat, my friend. Thank you for stopping by. We are going to break and come back in a moment. We will go live on Fox Good Day this morning. Then we'll do the Bizarre File. And then we have an announcement about something coming up on MMR to pass along to you. Don't miss the info.
Preston and Steve.
On 93.3 WMM.
So like 3.3 WMMR.
All right, thank you very much, Kath. Text word secret to 39333. Might win yourself some tickets to see the Black Keys playing the International Players Tour Monday, October 21st at the Wells Fargo Center. Tickets don't even go on sale till Friday. So we have your chance to win them before they're even available to the public. So do that right about now, and we'll have a winner later on. Music means we're going live on Fox Good Day.
Hey, Preston and Steve, we found this survey that said that a lot of people consider their automobile, their cars or trucks, are part of their family. Have you experienced this? Steve, let's start with you.
Yes, absolutely. We have nicknames for our cars, and ever since I've had a car, I've considered it part of the family. Sometimes it acts up, and sometimes you have to put it down. But for the most part, I do. Yeah,
Put it down.
Yeah, we'll go.
Give me some of the names.
So my first car was a '68 Bonneville, which, oh boy, I called that Rolling Thunder. Because when it rolled, it sounded like thunder. And my current car I call the Batmobile because it has a sort of a stealthy look to it. And my wife's had the Silver Bullet. And we have all these monikers. It kind of makes it fun.
Preston, you name your cars?
I have in the past, yeah. I had one of my first cars was a 1973 Ford Mustang, and I called it the Cleaver.
The Cleaver.
And the reason it was called the Cleaver was because it had a 8-cylinder 351 Cleveland engine in it. So the Cleveland, we nicknamed it the Cleaver. It was loud and it was awesome.
That's a good car. That's a good first car.
Yeah, I wrapped that around the fence.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
And what was the reason you told your father?
No, that was when I wrecked the truck. I told him that a dog ran out in front of the car, and of course he didn't buy it for a second. And that was another fence. I've taken out a couple of fences.
A couple of fences, yeah.
Wow, fantastic.
Yeah, and then I did have a yellow convertible Corvette that I named Betty. As well,
Betty.
because
Why
we had
Betty?
Because Betty was a blonde, if you remember in the Archie's comics.
That's right.
And so it was
Yeah.
a yellow car, and then we had my wife had a black Jeep, so that was Veronica. So we had Betty and Veronica because Veronica was a brunette.
See?
Which I thought was kind of fun.
It's creative.
Kath?
I never named it. I had my one of my first cars was a dark brown Chrysler LeBaron convertible. And we referred to the color as something I can't say on the air, but I never really named them.
Which is the car that your dad...
It was that one. My dad...
Explain what your dad did.
My dad's the best. He had to rig the brake light because it wouldn't work. So I would have to put... He put in the center console a doorbell, and I had to hit the doorbell in order to make my brake lights go on.
She had to manually turn her brake lights on.
What? Did the doorbell make a sound?
No, no. He was just like, well, when you stop, when you hit the brakes, make sure you press this button so the people behind you know you're stopping. Yep. Yes.
Yeah.
Seems like Casey Boy would name a car.
You know what, man? You would think, but I didn't. We did have a car. I didn't name it the Egg, but we called it the Egg. Do you remember the Chevette?
Yes.
Okay, so Pontiac had their version of the Chevette. It was called a T1000, and so it looked like a little egg. It was. I think we got it with 150,000 miles on it. At one point, we were making a right-hand turn, and the driver's door just opened for no reason whatsoever. Wow. My brother got pulled over. My brother got pulled over. He wasn't even speeding, but the car was revving. So it was because it just didn't. The transmission didn't change over. So it sounded like he was speeding, but he wouldn't.
Going 15 miles an hour.
15 miles. Yeah. But that was the only car. But I didn't name it the Egg.
Yeah, we had a 1988 or 89 Buick Skylark, and it was white, and we initially named it White Lightning, which wasn't very original, but then it lost part of the grill in the front, and we had this handyman who worked around the house, and his name was Pete, and Pete only had one tooth, so the car kind of resembled Pete, so we named the White Lightning Pete and drove that around for quite some time. Yeah.
One tooth Pete.
Yeah.
I had a brown Volkswagen Rabbit.
Oh, yeah.
The one that was kind of squared off.
Yep.
Yes.
For some reason, we called it the brown banana.
The brown
No
banana.
clue.
Not the brown bunny.
No, the
CBs
brown
in it.
banana. Did that run on diesel?
No.
Okay.
As I remember. No, I don't think it was.
Some of them did.
Oh, no. I had a friend who had a rabbit. His nickname was Diesel. That's why I just saw that. Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
you.
See you later, guys. Yeah, Dave Stone, Diesel. He loved his rabbit. Oh, my God. He would go on and on how much he loved the rabbit.
The car I just vulcanized the most was a Ford Montego. That's the one that I drew a tank sight on the windshield.
Yeah.
Got pulled over because I was informed by the officer that you can't really draw on your windshield.
Right.
But yeah, I did all that crazy modding stuff to that vehicle.
Preston, I also had a Rabbit convertible, and I sold it to a friend of a friend. And when I sold it to her, it was obviously very old. She left in it. It was perfectly fine. She drove down 95, and the convertible was canvas. It was not a hard top, and the whole thing ripped off while she was on 95. But she had given me the money and left, and it was fine when she left.
Oh, no.
her first drive in it.
First drive, the whole convertible
What'd
top
you do?
ripped off.
That is
What'd you do?
the best. I love it. All right, we have a couple of things to do. We're going to do the B file, and then we have an announcement to make.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
Brought to you this morning by Family and Company Jewelers. Save hundreds on the ring of her dreams at the Family and Company Jewelers Viraggio Bridal Show. It's going to be April 25th through the 27th. Visit familyjewelers.com for all of the details. Well, the dramatic helicopter rescue of a man who clung to a Northern California cliffside after falling off a trail in the Golden Gate National Recreation Area was caught on video. The Southern Marin Fire District requested a helicopter on Sunday evenings, which used thermal imaging to spot the man who was dangling precariously over the rising ocean tide in the Bay Area. I mean, this dude, it looks like it's out of a movie. He's hanging on for dear life on the side of this cliff. The victim was about 40 feet off the water line, according to Jason Golden, the battalion chief. He said the individual was starting to lose their grip. Once officials were close enough to the imperiled hiker, the rescuing officers can be heard in the video pleading with the man to don't let go. He had fallen 50 to 60 feet from the trail, the sheriff's office had said, and he was grabbed by the crew of a helicopter and swiftly hoisted to safety at the top of the cliff for medical examination by both the fire department and paramedics. The rescuer said that it was one of the most precarious rescues because of how the victim was grabbing on and how quickly they were letting go.
Hold on to that dream.
The hiker is in stable condition, suffered some minor injuries, scrapes and bruises. But the site of the rescue is known as the Batter Alexander Trail, and it is laden with steep cliffs.
Man.
So this guy fell off. Hold on to your dreams. Thank you.
Learn what we have all learned from the music of triumph.
All right, in one of the most shocking cases of work-related incidents reported in China, a worker at a government-affiliated institution allegedly tried to terminate a coworker's pregnancy by repeatedly poisoning her water in order to avoid the higher workload caused by her maternity leave.
Can you effing imagine?
The plan reportedly came to light when the victim noticed that her water kept tasting strange regardless of its source. At first, she was convinced that it was the office's water supply, but the taste persisted even after she switched to bottled water, and that's when she decided to investigate. One of the unnamed victim's friends joked that someone in the office might be trying to poison her, and the woman decided to put theory to the test by using her tablet to record her desk and anyone who came near it. And that's how she caught one of her colleagues in the act as they poured a powder-like substance into her water bottle before quickly turning away and leaving without anyone noticing. When confronted, the suspected poisoner said she tinkered with the victim's water because she couldn't handle the extra workload by herself when the pregnant woman went on maternity leave.
So euthanize her kid?
It's insane. The victim has alerted the police and an investigation underway. Authorities are treating the case with the utmost seriousness, as if it turns out the suspect was acting with an intent to cause harm. It could constitute a crime or injury regardless of the nature of the substance that she was using. That's demented. A former Iowa City hospital administrator pleaded guilty on Monday to an identity theft scheme that spanned 3 decades and caused the victim to be falsely imprisoned for nearly 2 years. This is wild. Listen to the story. It's a bit lengthy, but it's very interesting. Officials said 58-year-old Matthew Kierans from Heartland, Wisconsin, pleaded guilty to 1 count of false statement to a national credit union and 1 count of aggravated identity theft. Attorneys presented evidence showing Kierans and his identity theft victim worked together at a hot dog cart in Albuquerque in the 1980s. Kierans used the victim's identity for the next 30 years.
So kind of really locked in on it.
In every aspect of his life, obtaining documents and a Kentucky birth certificate in the victim's name. Kierans was hired at an Iowa City hospital as a high-level administrator in 2013 using these false identification documents. He then worked for the hospital remotely from his Wisconsin home. Officials described him as the key administrator of critical systems. His role was in the hospital's computer infrastructure, and it was the highest that it could be. So he had a real prestigious position. This was, decades after they first
after
met.
the hot dog stand.
Yeah. Officials said Kierans used the false identity to obtain 8 loans with a value of more than $200,000 from 2 credit unions. In 2019, the victim, who was homeless at the time, went into a branch of the National Bank in Los Angeles in which Kierans, the guy, had maintained an account. Well, the victim told employees of the bank that he'd discovered someone else was using his credit and had accumulated a lot of debt. When the bank manager asked the victim a series of security questions, the victim couldn't answer them. So the police contacted Kierans in Wisconsin, who faxed over a series of phony identification documents. The police then arrested the victim on 2 felony charges.
So the legit guy is being arrested as an imposter.
Yep. And the victim continued to maintain that he was not Kierans. The California State Court judge found him not mentally competent to stand trial, ordered him to go to a mental hospital, and receive treatment.
What are you freaking doing in that case?
The victim
All the paperwork favors the guy who's the criminal.
The victim then pleaded no contest to the felony charges, and he spent a total of 428 days in county jail and 147 days in a mental hospital. After he was released from prison and the hospital, he tried to regain his identity multiple times. Meanwhile, Kieran's continued to make false reports and statements to law enforcement that this guy was a liar. The victim contacted the Iowa City's hospital security department, and this is really cool, about Kieran's in January 2023 after learning where Kieran's worked. The hospital referred the victim to a local law enforcement agency. They assigned a detective. During the investigation, the detective was able to unravel the identity scheme using DNA evidence to confirm the identities of him and the victim. So they eventually got his DNA somehow or another, and they found out that this dude was lying the entire time. He faces a possible maximum sentence of 32 years in prison and $1.25 million fine. A sentencing date has not been set yet, but
it's an entire 30 years.
That's a life.
Life, yeah.
It's crazy. All right, and then we'll do one last story, something a little lighter, and this was in England. A bus driver, still wearing his high-visibility jacket, was allegedly caught receiving oral sex next to the bus last Friday night.
All right.
Can you see it?
The incident was made public when an anonymous user posted a photo to Facebook, which appears to capture the alleged incident. Police are now investigating
Peanut butter.
As an offense of outraging the public decency. A Norfolk police spokesman said, "We are aware of an incident of outraging public decency after an image was circulated on social media. The incident occurred on the Atlantic Avenue on Friday when two people appeared to be engaging in sexual activity while in public. Officers want to speak to the person who took the photo as well." The bus group called First Group spokesperson added that the matter was under investigation.
Ladies love the bus drivers.
There you go. That's what I have in the bizarre file for you this morning. All right, it's announcement time, friends.
Hey.
So we're excited to bring to you another opportunity to win some money. And this time around, MMR and the President and Steve Show present Good Money It. Good Money to See You. That's
Good morning to see you.
All right, it's Good Money It, Good Money to See You. And it's your shot at winning $1,000 5 times a day. I think you know what this contest is all about by now because we've been doing it for a number of years. It's just we give it a different name each time.
Yeah, it's great. I play that original clip just one more time, please.
Good morning to see you.
That's how it all started.
Yep, good morning to see you.
Good morning to see you.
But it's called Good Money It, Good Money to See You, and it starts this Monday, and it's simple. You listen at 8 a.m., 10 a.m., noon, 3, and 5 p.m. Each time you tune in at those times, we will announce a keyword, and then you will have 15 minutes to enter that keyword. And there are 3 ways to do it. You can do it through WMMR.com. You can do it on the MMR app, or you can text the special contest short code number, which is 45911, and then we'll get a winner for $1,000.
That's awesome. I love when we do this, give away loads of money.
Yep. And it is sponsored by our good friends at Trinity Rehab. So you can get all of the contest rules at WMMR.com. So it starts on Monday, and once again, it's called Good Morning It. Good Money It.
Yes.
Good Money to See You. And it's $1,000 5 times a day. So it starts up on Monday. Get ready for that. All right, we will take ourselves a break. We'll come back in just a moment or two. Hang out. We'll be back.
And that's your traffic on 93.3 WMMR.
Thank you, Kathy. I am so fortunate that I have someone in my household who does the physical paying of the bills.
Oh.
I'm just not good at it. And would have our family in total trouble if it was left up to me.
I had a situation yesterday, Preston, to that point. So my wife does all that.
Yep.
And we were on the phone with the bank, and the woman saying, "Well, you should both have an access code." And I kept saying, "You need to understand, I never go near this. There's only," and she was like, addressing me as if I was a functional adult. And I'm like, no, you're laboring under a misconception. I don't do this. Right. And my wife is the only one who needs to have
And you realize, Steve, if for whatever reason, if Rochelle or Claire felt the need to bring the hammer down on us, it could be done in, I'm sure,
instantly.
One swift movement, one little flick of the pen.
One mouse click.
And I would be out on the street.
You'd be like that guy who had his identity stolen for 30 years.
Yeah.
I
most
literally
likely.
only have the money in my pocket, and that would be it.
Yeah.
That would, honestly.
And a dead mouse.
Right?
But the reason I bring it up is because Casey had an interesting story about paying bills that we found very. I don't know. It is
It's
interesting.
informative.
Yeah. And listen, I'll just cut right to the chase here. This is my mother. My mother lives with us. I got a call from my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law is a mechanic. He has a Hometown Auto in Conshohocken, and he does all the work on our cars.
He's great.
He's doing the inspection for my mom, and he decided to call me because there was an issue with her insurance, and he didn't want to confuse her, so he called me because the insurance on her car was from her old car. She got a new car. I said I was going to cut to the chase, and I did. What he found out was that she was paying almost $7,000 a year for car insurance.
Car insurance.
Now she's
For
driving
one car.
She's driving a Dodge Charger.
She's
right?
driving, a Hellcat. She's driving a Hellcat. And here's a woman who puts less than 7,000 miles on her car a year. She goes to church every day, and she'll go to the supermarket, and that's like it.
That's insane.
It is absolutely insane. So I got to grab her insurance information because I needed to get the insurance card, right? So that he could have that information so he could inspect her car properly. But then I was like, I need to get you less money. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know why you're paying this much. So the only thing I knew to do was to call my insurance company, right? So, and I'm not going to name insurance companies or whatever.
Right.
So I called my insurance company, and I went and I got a quote at $1,800 a year.
Yeah. Can you do better than $7,000 for my mother's 2 trips a day on a car?
With one phone call and very, very limited conversation, I was able to eliminate over $4,000 a year that she was paying in car insurance.
Well, good for you, first of all. Second of all, do you mind if I ask how long she had been with that company? Do you know? And they are different companies, right? Yours versus hers?
Completely different companies.
Okay.
And my mom was paying $500 a month, okay? And here's the thing. My dad passed away almost 10 years ago. And, she just took over the responsibility. So, like, when I got off the phone, she, is looking at me. She's like, I don't know. Like, your dad took care of all of that stuff. And I just started paying the bills when he passed away.
Do we believe that there was less so much shady?
I absolutely believe it was shady dealings.
Because if she
Nothing
just simply
illegal.
inherited the bills, you would think in all that time, though, and they were apprised of the passing of your father, that somebody, an agent, would have said, by the way,
right,
heads up, you're paying $4,000.
But why would they do that? They're making money.
Or has this been a slow increase over time? These payments kept going up slowly, and she just didn't really.
You know what? I don't know. I don't know. I didn't investigate enough, and I'm also like, my cognitive capacity is very, very limited, right? So, there was pages and pages of information that I'm like, my brain can't comprehend.
Yeah, man. Rochelle takes those stacks, and she'll just slowly go through each one of them, and I'm like, you lost me in the first paragraph of the first one. So you ended up switching insurance companies?
We switched insurance companies. I had to call the original insurance company, and listen, I know that the person on the phone that I'm talking to is not the person responsible for charging my mom $7,000 a year for car insurance, but I still have to impart to this person. Impart or impart?
Impart.
My displeasure. Because it's
at this incident.
I find it very predatory, and there's somebody somewhere, crunching numbers, who knows full well that this woman shouldn't be paying. And my question is do I have any recourse? Can I? Is there somebody I can call?
That's a very good question. Do you have? My guess is no, because but.
I mean, she's been paying over $4,000 a year more than, all right, so she's paying this much money, right? So let's just say $4,000 a year, too much for the last 10 years. Does she deserve $40,000?
No. I think at some point, if you had gone to that company and you decided to stay with them, perhaps then there'd be some recourse. But by the fact that you left that company, they're just going to chalk it up to they won over that amount of time. Yeah. They got her money. And I feel bad for you and for your mom. For what it's worth, my dad had to go through the exact same thing with his mother. When my grandfather passed away, she had no idea how to take care of any of those bills. I mentioned that 88 Buick Skylark earlier.
Yeah.
That was a car that my dad bought for my grandmother because she just didn't know how to do it on her own. But the other thing that happens is when you get older, when you reach that age, when you reach your mom's age, Casey, your insurance is supposed to go down year after year. So a responsible insurance agent would have said something, and they would have wanted to keep her business and perhaps even bring your business on, bring your family's business on by allowing her the discount that she deserved at this age.
By the way, that Buick Skylark, did it have a white convertible top with metallic mint green paint?
It did not.
Okay.
It was white.
Had pause attraction.
And pause attraction.
I will tell you this, though. Let me play devil's advocate. Your mom, it's no secret, your mom loves drift racing.
Yes. Yeah.
Did that figure into it?
Probably why.
I mean, no.
Reckless driving will cause your rates to go up.
She knows all the good intersections in the city.
So I guess maybe we just call it even then.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, hang on. And we're getting a number of texts coming in, Casey, of people who had similar things happen to them. So you're not alone. I'm going to go to Tony. Hi, Tony. Good morning.
Good morning to see you.
Good morning, buddy. What's up?
I am not an elderly woman. I'm a 58-year-old man, and the same thing happened to me. I was talking to my sister-in-law late last year, and the subject somehow came up about car insurance. When I told her what I was paying, which was like over $3,000 a year, her eyes went wide with shock and disbelief. So I went looking. I'm now paying less than half with a different insurance company.
Wow.
And I'm in the and I'm the one who actually pays the bills in my house. It's just I never gave it a thought. It's like I just thought that's what insurance cost.
Yeah.
No, and I can completely understand that. And then if you take something, so like your mom, like with Casey's mom, she wasn't writing out a check for $4,000 or $5,000. It was incremental payments,
$500
and so
a month.
you lose the
Exactly.
30,000-foot view, right?
Yeah.
So
exactly,
that's what you did. Yeah, no, it makes
I had
sense.
it bundled with the home insurance, the whole thing.
Right.
I thought, I'm saving money, but there are better options out there. People just look for them.
Tony, did you first try to go to your current insurance company and work on it, or did you just leave immediately and go to another one?
I started looking for another one. Not for nothing, but I wound up going with AAA.
Okay.
I've been a AAA member for eons, and I thought, okay, well, at the very least, I'll get a discount for being a AAA member. And sure enough, they came through. I can't switch over my homeowner's policy right now. That's a whole other story. But when I do, I'll save even more.
AAA is the one company endorsed by Fonzie.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tony.
Hey, I feel like I want to sue this company because my mom goes crazy on Christmas. Could you imagine what she'd be able to do with $4,000 extra on
buy
Christmas?
what she'd be able to buy you?
For
I
you.
think to Nick's point, I think you had stayed with them, but I mean, could you have exacted it back in reduced payments? But I mean, they can only do what they can.
Dude, the lady on the phone, when I'm talking to her, she didn't even try to get us to stay.
Do you guys have insurance agents?
I have one.
Yes.
I have one with my company.
Okay, so I have one who's independent of a company. He's an insurance agent.
Same.
And so a few years ago, the reason I bring this up, Casey, is that I got this insurance agent through my dad, who my dad dealt with insurance his entire career. So he's pretty knowledgeable when it comes to it. And this agent recognized that home and auto insurance would be cheaper with another company. So I left one company per his recommendation and went to another one. I never would have done that if not for what he recommended in the first place. And that was not because he worked for a Travelers or a Nationwide or whatever. He worked for his own insurance company.
In a bizarre twist of irony, my insurance agent's first name is, and I kid you not, is Bong.
No.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Great.
That's
terrific, man.
Yep.
You win.
Totally.
Nobody has
Why
that.
am I paying $31,000 a year in car insurance?
Well, his name's Bong.
Actually, her name is
Let
Bong.
me talk to the Bong.
Casey, I'm in the same situation as Nick, and it's a friend of mine. It's a very good friend of mine, and this is what he does. He has his own insurance company, and so I don't even call. I never say anything. Every once in a while, he'll call and he'll say, hey, I can lower your auto insurance, or hey, we have to bundle it together, or whatever. So I'm not doing anything. He's just calling me, and the only time he ever calls is when we can lower it.
So we have a financial planners,
Advisor. Yep.
and they're two guys who are great. and they looked at everything, and we were actually happy with the insurance company before, but they got a dramatically reduced rate for the car insurance and all that stuff, and the house insurance.
Yeah.
Do you? So you have your company.
I got my company, which is now my mom's company.
Is Diane and everyone on the same car insurance? Okay, so there you go.
And, I did tell my mom that she has to take me and my brother-in-law out to dinner now.
Right, yeah.
We saved her so much money. And really, it's my brother-in-law was the one who saved the day.
Right, but you don't need to tell him.
No, just you two. You and your mom.
You can get a couple of sides.
Not
I really, really, really wish that there was some recourse here.
Listen,
maybe there is.
I'll contact my guy, and I trust him, and I'll send him your way because that's what their job is. Their job is to smell these scams, and smell, and especially when it comes to the elderly. Like if your mother just got used to paying that, year after year, and so of course she's going to keep paying for it because if she's not going to delve into it and look into. She'll just get used to it. So, I guess this is what it costs every year.
It might not be. So it may not be a scam. It's just simply.
That's right.
It is predatory. You use the proper word, and that's the case. In addition to an insurance agency, if you could hire a secret agent, besides an insurance agent,
like a secret,
secret
agent man,
we have an extra $4,000 to spend now.
Yeah.
You think I can get a good secret agent for $4,000? Okay.
Yeah, just go on Craigslist.
Let me see here. I'm going to go to Jen. Good morning, Jen.
Hi. Sorry to have you guys at work.
No, it's just insurance chat on the Preston and Steve show. What's up?
So our family has been with the same insurance provider for over 20 years. They're very well known. They have a great reputation. We have our auto and homeowners through them. And we've never had a claim. We've never had a problem. We added our youngest son, so now it's 2 adults, a young 20-something adult, and a teenager. And our insurance policy, the cost doubled.
Mm-hmm.
We were shocked when we got our renewal. We called. We tried to negotiate. They were unrelenting. They wouldn't change. So we shopped around and we cut over $2,000 off of the cost.
I mean, listen, that feels good to do that. I mean, you were trying to work with the company and they weren't able to accommodate. There's nothing wrong. You know that every person working in that company wants to pay the lowest rate as well for their own personal stuff. So, it's just standard procedure. And you have to be your own advocate. Yes, I got it.
Yeah, we're loyal. We know that they're a great company in case, God forbid, we ever need them. We knew they would be there for us. But
are they like a good neighbor?
No.
Oh, okay.
They don't have a mascot.
Okay. All right.
Oh, I got you.
Do they have any jingles?
Gotcha.
No.
No jingles.
No jingles.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Jen.
Yeah.
Really feel like I need to go through my mom's checkbook.
And her underwear drawer.
I already do that. Which is where her checkbook is. That's why I know. No, I need to go through her checkbook to see what her monthly bills are. You know what I mean? Just to make sure.
What was your mother paying insurance-wise prior to the Snake River Canyon jump?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think her records go back that far.
Casey, I noticed a week or two ago that you had mentioned this on Twitter, and I was curious as to whether or not you thought about publicly shaming the company on Twitter. Okay.
No. I don't want to do that. I mean,
the only reason I think that is sometimes effective is that it gets the company's attention. They have entire divisions dedicated to fielding complaints on social media, and so you might get a response that way.
You also got to kind of watch your step.
I get it.
Because you might say something that is slightly out of line legally, and then you could be in trouble.
It's not it's not foolproof, and there are repercussions for doing it, but sometimes you can get results.
If you know how to do it, and you know how to correctly employ racism, you can get it done.
No, Nick, because of what we do for a living, and because of our sponsors and stuff like that, and to tell you the truth, I don't even know if they sponsor with us or not, but I'm like, you know what, I don't want to put anything in jeopardy.
No.
Completely understand.
I think ultimately I think the ship has sailed on this, just because of the way everything was signed off on, and that was the deal. It's just, if somebody asks you in the future for a recommendation, don't recommend that company. You know?
I just recently I went to a website. I was trying to contact a company, and it said ways to contact, and it was, phone number, live chat, email, and Twitter. You could put a complaint on Twitter for their company, that was a way that you could have them contact you back.
And that's more and more
it was
common.
literally a link to their Twitter account and for you to write whatever it is your issue was.
And companies do that because they've seen so many like active complaints or whatever online that they have dedicated employees to fielding these requests, complaints, whatever, and sometimes it's effective.
I posted against an insurance company years ago. I used OnlyFans, and I sent them a picture of a corn cob up my butt, and they reacted immediately.
Did they tip you? Did they leave a tip?
No, you're right though. The social media. What's going on? What's going on?
I'm trying to find.
She's on her OnlyFans.
No, I'm trying to find what company it was.
But ultimately, again, to that point, I was just reading an article about this, is because people will then employ the social media barrage.
Yeah.
And it's not, the company's done nothing, and they're going to try to exact consideration by falsely bombarding them with social media hate. So to your point, Preston, you got to watch what you're doing.
Sometimes people use it as a last resort, and Steve, when they reach that point, they're so frustrated and angry that they post stuff that they probably shouldn't have in the first place. You know?
Yes.
I was going because I was when I was in South Carolina before we went to Florida. I was renting a car, and I was so close, Nick, to publicly shaming this company.
An airline?
No. The airline was fine. It was a rental car company because I was in line, and I'm standing in line, and I'm looking at all these other rental car kiosks, and there's nobody. We were the only ones. And they only had one person working the counter. I sat there for an hour, and I'm like, I have to do something here. And then I eventually stepped out of line. And I rented a car at another place, and in the time that I was able to walk over and rent a car completely from scratch, the place that I was in line, I think only moved.
Became a Wetzel's Pretzels.
I think they only served like 1-2 people maybe in the time that I was able to do that.
Look,
I was like, this is ridiculous, man.
Sometimes companies like getting that feedback because they if there's an issue and a company is responsible, they like addressing it. You know, and if it's constructive criticism, it's not always the worst thing in the world, but sometimes it can backfire.
And I will compliment Alamo because that's where I ended up. I jumped out of line to Alamo.
So Alamo. So I rented a car in Dallas, right? So I go. I mean, listen, there's a ton of, and sometimes companies have bad days, and sometimes people call in sick and they get overwhelmed. So you can't take one snapshot and just rain down fire on people. You know, if it's a consistent track record of bad service, that's when you can kind of, and you can complain certainly. But I was in the airport, and there was like a Bataan Death March line. Every other place I go to Alamo, and I got right in and out. So. You know, and
that's why I chose National. I've been with them for like a decade. I was at an airport one time. I had to get a rental car. All of them were busy. There was nobody in line at National. I'm like, that's it.
That's the one I'm going.
I don't care if you give me a piece of crap. I don't care. It just gets me to A to B. I just got off a plane. I don't want to stand in line anymore.
Yeah. And so, Steve, there was, when I initially got in line, there were 2 people working the kiosks, and then the lady just disappeared. I was like, honestly, like, you chose right now to take your coffee break?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Did she actually walk away, or did she slide down behind the counter?
You'll never notice.
I'm eating my sandwich.
I'm going to go to Carrie, who works in the insurance industry and can explain some more detail. Hi, Carrie, you're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning to see you.
Good morning, bud. What's up?
I'm good. Listen, I work in the insurance business, personal lines for like 20 years. What you want to check on your insurance policy is your ability to sue, their tort option. It can be, in some cases, 20 to 30% higher than what it would be if you just go with the limited tort. So what that would do is basically if you get like in a car accident and you have whiplash, you wouldn't be able to sue for that. But you'd still be able to sue for something serious, like serious bodily injury, permanent injuries. So I'll just say that for everybody to check your policy, whether you have the limitation or no limitation option.
Carrie, in this case, Casey's asking if, now that this has all been terminated with his mother's former insurance company.
Yeah, she was being overcharged ridiculously.
Does he have any recourse in that case?
I don't think so. The policy has now already been canceled. It's kind of like the insurance company got her, in a sense.
Yeah.
Maybe it's still worth investigating just to see exactly what she was paying for. to ensure that moving forward, the same thing doesn't happen again with a new carrier, right?
Yep.
I mean, there's going to be rate changes from year to year, but yeah, for an elderly woman, single driver, it should not have been anywhere near $7,000.
Like, I don't think,
Thanks,
your
Karen.
mother's in her 70s?
76.
Active drift racer, but she doesn't have to.
No, and she's been doing that for a while.
Yeah.
So, even with the drift racing, I feel like, she's experienced enough.
She's good. She's not
those
crazy.
sideshow things, where they go out in the middle of an intersection and they start doing donuts.
Yeah.
It's amazing to see, but that's dangerous.
She's driving a Hellcat.
I told them as I was canceling the policy, I said, you're never going to see another red cent from her, ever. You know what I mean? So it was like, we're out. We're
And then
done,
they pointed out that most of the coins are not, in fact, red.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
damn it.
we cool.
Yeah, where the hell did that come from? Red cent.
I don't know.
That's a
Did
good
you know
question.
that Enterprise owns National?
Yes. Enterprise, National, and there's one more, and they're all a big.
Alamo.
Is it Alamo? Or you're just saying that?
No, he's right. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
as a matter of fact, because, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, it's weird because
Oh my God, they're
one time, Preston, I flew into Miami and I had rented through Enterprise. And we got to the Miami airport and the Enterprise agent said, go to the National car desk instead. It's a shorter line and it's the same company.
There you go.
But it occurred to me, like, well, why not just have one company? Where
All right,
three
Nick, you've
lines?
just raised. Now you have put things into perspective because when I walked out of the Alamo door to go into the lot to select the car, my selections were all under signs that said National.
Yes, same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the same company with the same cars, and you can get them all in the same place. Why are there three companies?
Why?
By the way, their headquarters of National is in Clayton, Missouri. That's where I went to broadcasting school, where I learned the need to eat pizza.
Did you know?
I went there.
Other side note, sorry, Casey. There's a family driving to your hometown, and they texted this morning, and they wanted to say hi.
Shanna, Keith, and Erica are headed to St. Louis for a night on our way to Colorado to spend the evening where Kenny Knight grew up.
They're streaming the Preston and Steve show their entire drive, so they left early this morning, and they've been
that's
listening
awesome.
the whole way out. So
Go to
That's
Emo's
awesome.
Pizza.
Having Emos.
there you go.
How do you
Get
spell It's IMO, right?
IMO apostrophe S. You won't like it.
What am I talking
But it's
about?
the best pizza ever.
I am talking about the need to eat pizza.
I love Emo's Pizza.
All right, good.
I think you're going to love it.
Some people
love
have it.
it.
It's thin crust and it's not for everybody, and the cheese is really creamy.
So my question is this.
We're talking about insurance.
Are there rental car companies where you just take care of all the business online, so when you show up to the airport, you just head to the garage,
Well,
and you don't have to go to
no.
any kiosks or anything like that?
I think you have to.
Marissa says yes.
Hold on a second here.
Marissa, there has to be some point at which you're proving you've got to
Because they
transact
have-
with somebody.
Steve,
yeah.
I was talking to a friend about our experience in Clearwater that it was about 2.5 hours by the time the plane landed and we got to the hotel. And my friend said she experienced the same exact thing on a work trip and found out that a lot of these rental car companies, you just do it through the app. And then when you land, you go right to where the cars are.
Oh.
You show them the app, they scan it, they hand you the keys, and you go.
Nice.
Yeah, there's like a little kiosk out there, and you can just walk right
in the
to
parking
that.
lot. Yeah.
because
What's
you
your
have
name? Good
Remember
looking.
that, guys, for next year.
Because
I gotta get the
also, when you're leaving, they have to check your driver's license. I mean, because I had to do that when I was driving through. No,
Not with me. No, when I returned the car, I was done. I did it online on the return side.
Yeah, the drop off is usually super fast.
I just left it in an alley.
Oh, okay. I didn't buy into that.
I set it on fire and left.
Interesting. All right. Well, Casey, maybe have some recourse. It's seeming like possibly not.
Yeah.
But I think next time, try to do it before the policy is canceled. Hopefully, there won't ever be a next time.
Listen, anybody listening right now has an elderly parent who pay their bills or whatever. Ask them how much they're paying in car insurance.
Yeah.
Probably a good idea. Quick final suggestion. Have your mom go to the old place.
Yeah.
Drift race in the parking lot. While she's doing that, you go through the files
Yes.
and see what you can dig up. Because they'll be
Create a distraction. That's
Yeah,
a
By
good
the way,
idea.
one last call. Doesn't have to do with insurance, but Carl's been on hold for like 20 minutes. Let me go to Carl. Good to see you.
Carl, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Hey, good morning, Carl. What's up?
Hey, listen, I had a comment with my mom. Since I grew up, she had a black rotary phone, the old style with the dial on the wall, and I'm 53. So it's been there since before 1970. So she went to live with my sister a few years ago, and I started paying her bills. So I looked at her phone bill, and it had a rental charge of a little over $10 a month. And I'm like, what's the rental charge? It was a rental charge for the rotary phone.
No.
She's paying $120 a year on a rotary phone.
She's been paying that for over 50 years.
Oh, my God.
$10 a month. Then when I called them and said, no, this is ridiculous. It's just an old phone on the wall. I said, I can buy my own phone. They said, okay, no problem. We'll take it off, but you have to leave the phone outside. They wanted to take the phone.
They wanted the phone back. It was their property.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you paid thousands of dollars over the years for that.
Do you remember?
Funny.
So then
Good.
So then I started going through the bills, and like you said, started going through other bills and finding these little things that were kind of hidden in there, extra here, this here, and I'm like, so now I had to go through. And my mom, she's 90. She passed away 2 years ago, but she was 90 years old at the time, and it's almost like they put those things in there because they know you're not going to see them.
Again, the word predatory jumps up where they see some easy money and they figure they're not going to be checked. Yeah, you got to watch out for it.
Yep.
Or get your wife to do it, which is what I do.
That's what we do. All right, thank you, Carl. Appreciate it. So anyhow, just buyer beware, Listen, we need to take a break. I do want to remind you, speaking of all this money stuff, that we made an announcement earlier that starting on Monday, it's the return of MMR's cash contests. And this time around is called Good Money Good Money to See You. And every morning, Monday through Friday, starting this Monday, you listen at 8 a.m., 10 a.m., noon, 3, and 5 p.m. We'll give you a keyword, and you have 15 minutes to enter that. And there are 3 different ways to do it: through the app, through the website, and through a special text number. And we're going to get a winner that wins $1,000.
Love it.
We'll do that 5 times a day, every day for several weeks. So the rules are available at WMMR.com. Make sure you take a look at that. We're going to take a break. Come back in a second. We'll get some bizarre file stories. Make sure you stay with us.
Preston and Steve.
And that's your traffic on 93.3 WMMR.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
All right, this morning our fine sponsor is Natural Lawn of America. Natural Lawn's been creating green lawns quickly, more naturally, and with fewer weeds since 1987. Get free seeding every year. Call 800-FREE-SEED now. Inmates in New York are suing the state corrections department over the decision to lock down prisons during next Monday's total solar eclipse. The suit filed Friday in federal court in upstate New York argues that the April 8 lockdown violates inmates' constitutional rights to practice their faiths by preventing them from taking part in a religiously significant event. The plaintiffs are 6 men with varying religious backgrounds who are incarcerated at the Woodbourne Correctional Facility. They include a Baptist, a Muslim, a Seventh-day Adventist, and 2 practitioners of Santeria, as well as an atheist.
So the atheists, they're all tied in. They want to get a little action and see the eclipse.
Yep.
I'm surprised there's no Zoroastrianists or sun worshippers.
According to the complaint, it says the solar eclipse is a rare natural phenomenon with great religious significance to many. They noted that the Bible passages describe an eclipse-like phenomenon during Jesus' crucifixion, while sacred Islamic works describe a similar event when the Prophet Muhammad's son died.
April is one fine month to see an eclipse.
The complaint said the celestial event, which was last visible in 2017, won't be seen again until 2044, warrants gathering, celebration, worship, and prayer. The lawsuit states that one of the named plaintiffs, an atheist, received special permission last month to view the eclipse using glasses that would be provided by the state, but that was before the system-wide lockdown was issued.
It's almost like they're holding them against their will.
It's almost like that. You're right.
Yeah.
There will also be no visitation at nearly 24 prisons in the path of totality next Monday, while visitation at other correctional facilities will end at 2 p.m. So we'll see if that holds any water. All right, let's take a look at this next story. An Oregon man's sentence of life in prison without parole after his 6th conviction for public indecency, the latest for pleasuring himself while on a train, did not violate the U.S. Constitution's prohibition against cruel and unusual punishment, according to a federal appellate court.
Oh, yeah. Back home to Argonne.
I'm getting off before my next stop.
3-judge panel affirmed Oregon District Judge Ann Aiken's decision that Terry E. Iverson's sentence was not grossly disproportionate.
Oh, it is gross.
To his offense. So 6 times he's going to life in prison, by the way.
Wow.
It was 2 damn hard.
Jeez.
Iverson was prosecuted and sentenced life in prison without parole in 2017 after he pleaded guilty to his sixth conviction for public indecency. But he'd also
I'm
had...
not finished.
He had also had prior convictions for third-degree rape and first-degree sodomy. Also
Well, there you
underage.
go. Yeah.
I've been around, you know.
At the time of his 2017 sentencing, he admitted to 3 factors that led to his sentencing, enhancing his history. They showed persistent involvement in similar crime.
Yeah, they buried the lead in that.
Prior sanctions had not deterred him from committing new crimes, and he was on supervision for prior convictions at the time when he was spanking it for the 6th time in public.
Look at this mugshot. This guy is right out of a White Snake video.
He looks like kind of like Tiger King a little bit. So the judge told him that at his last sentence said he had been given many opportunities to change, but had failed to do so. He said, all we can do is incarcerate you because that's the only thing that works from preventing you to offend again.
Yeah.
It's non-negotiable.
So they're sending him back to Oregon.
Back home to Oregon.
You guys probably saw this story. 8 Norwegian cruise passengers, including a pregnant woman and an elderly man with a heart condition, claimed that they have been stranded on an African island without money and vital medications after the vessel left port without them.
It's a crazy story.
Jill and Jay Campbell from South Carolina said that they were stuck on the Central African island of Sao Tome with 4 other American and 2 Australian passengers after the captain of the ship allegedly refused to let them reboard. But a spokesperson for the cruise line claimed the passengers were left on the island on their own or with a private tour and missed the all-aboard time. A spokesperson for the cruise line said guests are responsible for ensuring that they return to the ship at the published time, which is communicated broadly over the ship's intercom in the daily communication and posted just before exiting the vessel. The Campbells acknowledged that there was an issue on their tour of the island, and the guide didn't get us back to the ship in time on Friday. Jay said, we were like, our time is getting really short. And they were like, no problem. We can get you back within an hour.
Sure.
And he said the tour operator then contacted the cruise ship captain to let them know that they would be late. When they reached the port, Campbell said the ship was still anchored, and the island Coast Guard took them on a boat to a ship in order to get back on board. The captain then allegedly refused to let them on board. They had no port to call for the next day. They were simply going to be at sea. They and the others, including a married couple from Delaware, a paraplegic, and an elderly man with a heart condition, were left stranded on the island without any of their belongings from the cabin, including money, medicine, and necessary travel documents.
It's like the worst version of Gilligan's Island.
The Campbells were the only ones who had a Visa card on their person, and they had to pay more than $5,000 in food, toiletries, and hotels for the group.
So we did a cruise, a river cruise, 2 summers ago. They are very repetitive.
Absolutely.
They go to great lengths.
Steve, I was going to say, they're really strict about this stuff. We do not hold the boat for you.
But they take every precaution to let you know, to give you advance warning.
And they shouldn't have to.
There's
Hundreds, if not thousands of people on this ship.
Yep.
You're not the only one.
Yeah. The group had planned to fly to Gambia in West Africa to meet the cruise ship at the port on Sunday. They then spent 15 hours traveling through 6 countries to reach the port on Easter, only to find that the ship could not dock due to low tides.
Oh, man.
The passenger now heading to Senegal, where the cruise is set to dock yesterday, actually, and I haven't seen the follow-through on all this. But as I was reading that story, as much as a nightmare that is,
yes,
I was also thinking in the back of my mind, you know what? You're kind of taking that responsibility into your own hands.
That is one thing that they stress above all else.
Yeah.
When they're leaving, be there.
Yep. All right. And that's all we have time for now in the Bizarre File. Kathy.
Yes.
We need a caller for the secret text word. What's it going to be?
6.
All right. Caller number 6, 215-263 WMMR. That is our number. And you need to have the secret text word in order to win the tickets to the Black Key. So call us now. We'll take a break. When we return, we'll get that caller. Hopefully it's going to be you. Stay with us.
True story, and
It is 14 minutes after 10 o'clock. Preston and Steve radio program on a Wednesday morning. Not a fun day weather-wise. We do have rain expected throughout the course of the day. The winds are going to pick up this afternoon. Might even have some thunderstorms. So depending on where you are and when you are, you might end up with some heavy rain. So heads up. And we have afternoon thunder showers expected tomorrow as well with a high 55. And with all this breeziness, it's going to feel pretty cold. But midweek next week up in the 70s. That's a beautiful thing.
So we're earning it this week, and hopefully we have a wonderful payoff at next week.
We were looking for caller number 6 for secret text word, and we have that caller. It just so happens to be Joan. So let's talk to Joan. Hi, Joan.
Hi.
Hi. All right, Joan, if you know the secret text word, then we've got some tickets for you. What is it?
Hung.
Hung is correct. Yeah. Hang on, Joan. You have tickets to see this band, which, by the way, Casey informed me this is the theme song for the TV show Hung.
Yes.
That they did, and hence the word. So we're going to give you tickets to see the Black Keys, International Players Tour. Monday, October 21st, Wells Fargo Center. Tickets go on sale Friday at 10 a.m. via Ticketmaster. WMMR.com will get you in on the pre-sale, the password for Thursday, and another chance to win tickets. Brent Porsche is giving away tickets all week long as well. And we want to congratulate our random texter, Curtis Hobson from Ardmore. And Curtis also gets tickets to see the Black Keys. So
nice.
Congratulations to you. We're not done giving things away. We have a lesson question. Nick, you're going to have to ask it.
Yeah.
4-pack of tickets for Adventure Aquarium and their Bubble Bash, which is running through April 28th. So what's our question?
Sorry, Preston. I'm having printer issues, or I would have handed them to you. We're going to go with this one. What kind of car does Casey's mom drive?
All right. What kind of car does Casey's mom drive? I don't even remember this.
All right.
215-263. Oh, yeah, I remember.
Okay.
All right. 215-263 WMMR. If you heard that a little while ago, let us know. Call now, and you'll be in the running for the prize. So what kind of car does Casey's mom drive? And while you're doing that, we'll do this.
The trash business is a gold mine. 93.3 WMMR with Preston and Steve's Hollywood Trash.
And it's brought to you by Dermatology Associates of Plymouth Meeting, recruiting for a non-segmental vitiligo study to test an investigational medication. Adults 18 and older can register. You just go to PlymouthMeetingDermatology.com. What's happening this morning, Steve?
Well, Connor Smith, a former MTV star from 2015's dating show Are You the One, has been arrested in Florida for trying to hook up with an underage girl. Ironically, Smith had just begun work on a new series called Are You the One? And if so, are your parents home? Will Smith telling Complex magazine that the first part of his life was all about making money, while now he's more interested in giving it away. Smith says he loves seeing someone light up when he gives them money for banging his wife.
Hey!
And finally, 37-year-old Kristen Cavallari revealing she would have another baby if that's what her 24-year-old male model boyfriend Mark Estes wants. Estes admits that he really doesn't know about having kids, but says he thinks it has something to do with the stuff that comes out of your pee-pee.
Oh, my God.
That's your Hollywood Trash.
All right, we'll see if you know the answer to this question. What kind of car does Casey's mom drive? We'll go to Carl, our second Carl on this morning. So
Carl, good to see you.
It's Carl again.
Yeah.
Oh, the same Carl. Did you win last time, Carl?
No, I just called in about the phone.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Okay,
Yeah,
there we
Carl.
go.
Okay, so you can indeed win if you happen to know what kind of car Casey's mom drives.
His mom drives a Hellcat.
Yes. Hang on, Carl. Got you, man. 4-pack of tickets, Adventure Aquarium, and their Bubble Bash. It's running through April 28th. And you can pop into spring at Bubble Bash, featuring Insta-worthy photo spots with larger-than-life bubbles and a shimmering shark cage, extended hours this week, and an underwater scavenger hunt. Purchase tickets at AdventureAquarium.com.
Now, Preston and Steve's Music News on 93.3 WMMR.
Oh, and it's brought to you by some friends that we met at our Galentine's Day party, Briganti Wines.
Oh, they were hugely popular.
Italy's finest, available now at select Pennsylvania Acme's. Visit BrigantiWines.com for details. That's BrigantiWines.com. There's a couple things to pass along to you. Disturbed just shared a video of the March concert performance of Don't Tell Me, and it featured a guest appearance by Lizzie Hale from Hailstorm, and she'll be playing at the Barbecue. She joined him on stage at Knotfest, Australia. And after the show, Disturbed lead singer David Draven shared a couple of backstage and on-stage photos with him and Lizzie, and included the following message. It said, "Thanks so much to Lizzie Hale for her absolutely nailing Ann Wilson's part in Don't Tell Me." Ann Wilson is on the version that was released to radio as well as in the official video. Another MMRBQ band is in music news. The Offspring, guitarist Kevin Noodles Wasserman, spoke about the studio progress of their next album. He said, we're hoping to be done by the end of April. We're going to go back into the studio when we get home, working with producer Bob Rock. He said, we get together every couple of months and go into the studio and work for a week or two, and that's how we like to work. The Offspring first achieved worldwide success back in 1990 with the release of their album Smash. That sold over 11 million copies, and of course, they'll be at the MMRBQ. Jeff Lynne's ELO added second nights to 4 cities on the Over and Out tour. The 31-date trek now includes 2 shows in New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, and Philadelphia.
So when's the second night?
September 21st. It is a Saturday.
Well, we can't do that.
Is that when the MMRBQ
It's MMR,
is?
and so
barbecue's. Oh wait, yeah, no, you're
21st.
Yeah,
but
Damn it.
they're also going to be on the 20th as well.
which is the night before the barbecue.
Pre-sales for the newly added shows are happening now. Tickets going on sale this Friday. And then finally, Billie Eilish, Nicki Minaj, Stevie Wonder, Pearl Jam, Casey Musgraves, Camila Cabello, and more than 200 other artists have joined with the Artist Rights Alliance, nonprofit and artist-led education and advocacy organization, to issue an open letter supported by more than 200 artists calling on AI developers, technology companies, platforms, and digital music services to cease the use of artificial intelligence to infringe upon and devalue the rights of human artists. While AI-related threats such as deepfakes and voice cloning continue to attract significant and legal scrutiny, the letter also highlights 2 related trends. The use of musical works by AI developers without permission to train and produce AI copycats, and the use of AI sound to dilute royalty obligations. The letter states that, quote, we must protect against predatory use of AI to steal professional artists' voices and likenesses, violate creators' rights, and destroy the music ecosystem. We call on all digital music platforms and music-based services to pledge that they will not develop or deploy AI music generation, technology, content, or tools that undermine or replace the human artistry of songwriters and artists or deny us fair compensation for our work. Earlier this month, the state of Tennessee has enacted the so-called Elvis Act.
That's right, man.
Enhancing its right of publicity protections. Similar legislation is being discussed in the U.S. Congress and in several U.S. states.
I don't want some computer singing for me, man. I'm the real deal, man.
Yeah, this stuff is
scary, isn't it, man?
Yep.
It's like that episode of Black Mirror, man.
Especially if it's your line of work.
That's right, man.
So, yeah.
I'm a singer.
Okay.
I'm a musician, a rock and roller. Not a computer.
No, that's right.
Goddamn computer.
So it'll be interesting to see where all this does go and what kind of legalities are involved.
I will tell you that I've been diving into using AI for some things that can really help the creative process. But there are ways, as you said, and you said one very important one, sort of blurring the lines if you want to get away with not paying royalties or, original music rights to an artist who's done something that you're kind of ripping off.
Yeah.
And it's possible.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
right.
I'm worrying about how it affects creative people.
Yeah.
Like if you're a musician, if you're an artist, to take away their work to me is what's one of the things that's troubling.
Yeah, most definitely. So we're going to see where all this goes in the very near future, man.
What if there had been a robot Elvis?
Happening
right?
now.
Yeah.
It would have sucked, man.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll wrap up the show, get the letter of the day and all that good stuff. So stay with us. You don't want to miss that. Stones on 93.3 WMMR proving their staying power with Angry. 10:31 on this Wednesday morning with Preston and Steve show. Week is going by quickly. Love it when that happens. There's no sad bro is in sight.
Oh, yeah.
And lots of things to give away this week, of which we'll give away our Word of the Week prize on that No Sad Bro Friday. We'll get to that in just a moment here. Get our letter of the day. A reminder, though, I would like to reiterate this. We made an announcement earlier this morning that we have a cash contest that starts this coming Monday. And this time around, the contest is called Good Money It. Good Money to See You. And it's your shot at winning $1,000 5 times a day. And this will go on for a number of weeks. Sometimes we do it for like a couple months.
Yeah, it seems like a good long run, but at the end of it all, there is a ton of money given away.
Yep. So we will start on Monday at 8 a.m., and it will happen every day, 8 a.m., 10 a.m., noon, 3 and 5 p.m., and each time we announce a special keyword, and then we start the clock. You have 15 minutes until after the hour to enter that word, and 3 ways for you to do it. You can do it through WMMR.com, on the MMR app on your mobile device. We highly recommend that. Or you can text it, special contest short code number, which is 45911. And don't worry, we'll remind you of that number when we start it on Monday. And one winner will win $1,000. And all the contest rules available at WMMR.com should you feel the need to check those out. So that was the big bit of information that was passed along this morning. We need to do our letter of the day. And is that going to be you, Case?
Yeah, it's me.
All right, let's do this.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
Now, the Daily Letter.
The Preston and Steve Show is brought to you today by the letter
E as in energy.
All right, we're going to give away a 4-pack of tickets for the session of your choice for the Atlantic City Beer and Music Festival. That's coming up on the 12th and 13th of this month, featuring music from Hot Mulligan, Saves the Day, and Goldfinger. There's over 100 breweries that are pouring over 400 different brews at the AC Convention Center, and tickets and information available at acbeerfest.com. Let me see. I want to thank our sponsors.
Yes.
Get to that.
Yes.
Preston and Steve radio program today has been brought to you by Dunkin'. Preston and Steve show runs on Dunkin'. Also brought to you by Acme Markets, fresh foods, local flavors, and Natural Lawn of America. Get free seeding every year. Just call them at 800-FREE-SEED now. Tomorrow's going to be a fun day. Getting ready for SmackDown.
WrestleMania.
Or WrestleMania, I'm sorry. Yeah, the big one. Drew Gulak is going to stop
we
by.
love Drew.
Drew's awesome, so we'll spend some time with him. Allison Sweeney, great actress.
Very cool, yeah.
And our buddy Brian Propp swinging by as well because he's got an event coming up. All right, so that is it. We are done. Rage on. Have yourself a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow, friend. Bye-bye.